Good evening, and now it gets interesting. The U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is on the ground now in Seoul, South Korea, not far from the border and the north, and all eyes have been on them for days. As we've been told, they have at least one missile fueled and ready for a test firing. The stakes remain the same, and even before any test launch, at least part of North Korea's goal has already been achieved. They have the attention of much of the world. It's where we begin again tonight. Before we hear from Richard Engel, let's start with our chief foreign affairs correspondent, Andrea Mitchell, in Seoul tonight. Andrea, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Secretary Kerry issued a stern warning to Kim Jong-un today, saying that launching a missile would be a huge mistake, while also offering him a face-saving way out of this crisis. At the same time, Kerry had to deal with that intelligence report, suggesting that North Korea may have already created a way to build a bomb small enough to be mounted on a missile.
John Kerry arrived here promising to defend South Korea and Japan unconditionally and warning North Korea's young leader this is a fight he can't win.
Kim Jong-un needs to understand, as I think he probably does, what the outcome of a conflict would be.
At the same time, Kerry and South Korea's new president promised peace talks and economic ties if North Korea gives up its nuclear weapons.
So it's up to Kim Jong-un what he decides to do.
Kim's military is the fourth largest in the world, but it is Soviet-built, aging rapidly. One reason he's accelerating his push for nuclear weapons.
We are all united in the fact that North Korea will not be accepted as a nuclear power.
But Pyongyang has had nuclear weapons for at least a decade and may now have one small enough to be delivered on a missile. An alarming assessment by the Defense Intelligence Agency, or DIA, blurted out Thursday by a congressman on the Armed Services Committee.
General, would you agree with that assessment by DIA?
I can't touch that one because I'm not sure now. It hasn't been released.
The DIA report was supposed to be kept classified, but someone at the spy agency forgot to label it properly. Today, Kerry and other U.S. officials insisted there is no proof North Korea has the ability to put a nuclear warhead on a missile that could be successfully launched, re-enter the atmosphere, and hit a target.
Obviously, they have conducted a nuclear test. So there's some kind of device. But that is very different from miniaturization and delivery.
So who can get through to North Korea? Its closest ally is China, where Kerry is headed next, amid signs that Beijing may be growing weary of its increasingly reckless neighbor.
They've got to try to defuse the situation, and they can do that, it seems to me, by exercising more pressure on the economic relief that they provide the North Koreans.
But so far, China has only stepped up its criticism of Kim, not using its real power to stop him from carrying out its threats. As Secretary Kerry now heads to Beijing, he wants to see real action from China, not more words. Brian?
Andrea Mitchell starting off our coverage from Seoul tonight. Thanks.